Hi, my name is Heather. Welcome to Strings and Threads. Today I'm going to do a 1920s inspired hat. Hopefully there's a picture up here somewhere that you can see that. Hopefully I remembered. I'm going to be using two colors for this, and what I did was I also looked up what colors were popular for clothing and hats and whatnot in the 1920s, and one of the colors was an off-white. And even if this looks a little yellowish, in real life this looks more off-white. This is something I bought at a second-hand store, so I'm not really familiar with it. Some of it is ripped, but there's also no colored name, it's just a number. And then for this will be my main hat color. You'll need a main hat color and then an accessory color. So another color that they said was popular at the time is light pink. Now, I'm going to show you, this is a 4-weight yarn. This one is probably too old to have a weight, but if I compare them, they're very, very, very close. So I'm guessing these are both 4-weight yarns. So if you are choosing, you can of course choose any kind of yarn that you would like, but if you're using something thinner or thicker than the 4-weight yarn, then you might have to modify your increases as we're making the hat, because it will change the sizing of it. If you were curious what the off color or the accessory color that I'm using Big Twist Heather. I've got to love that because I'm Heather. And the colorway is rose. So let's start with the main color. We're going to put 10 half double crochets into a magic circle. And I know magic circle can be intimidating to people. It was actually intimidating to me for a long time. If you would prefer, you can chain 2 and then put 10 into the second chain from the hook, 10 half double crochets in the second chain from the hook. But see if you can follow me with this. This should be easy. This way is what finally got me to do a magic ring. I go as if I'm going to be making a slip stitch. So I make the circle and the longer end is on the top. And then I pull through, kind of looks like a pretzel there. Pull through, and normally for a slip stitch you would pull tight, but I just don't pull tight. I am going to chain 1 to know where it ends easily, and we're doing half double crochets. I'm going to just say this up front. I make a lot of amigurumi, and when you single crochet and make amigurumi, it makes a really cool stitch if you yarn under when you pull up. For half double crochets, I haven't noticed much of a difference. But if you see me yarning under, which just means when I go in to draw up a loop, I bring the yarn underneath instead of over top, just ignore that. It's just a matter of habit at this point. So when I'm not thinking about it, because I've done so many amigurumi, I tend to yarn under. I get questions about that a lot because a lot of times I don't even realize I'm doing it. But I'm going to try to make an effort to yarn over because that's the more typical way of doing stitches. But if you catch me yarning under, please forgive me. It's not for a specific reason, it's just out of force of habit. 1, 2, you know what, I'm going to make the 10 stitches and then come back because I don't want to waste too much time on this video. You do the same. I have the 10, so what we'll do next is pull tight. And instead of joining up with the first half double crochet, which is what I typically do, I'm trying to not get that line that you get when you join up. So we're just going to keep going around, but I have a stitch marker where I can mark the first stitch of each round so I don't get lost. So you can feel free, if you would prefer, you can just join with a slip stitch to the first half double crochet, chain 1, and then do the next round. I'm just going to go right into the next round so that I don't get that crazy line. So we're going to do the pattern of putting 2 half double crochets in each stitch around. If I just said single crochet earlier, forgive me, we're doing this whole thing in half double crochets. So I'll go in and put the first, this would be the first stitch of the second round. So I'm going to put a stitch marker in there. That'll mark the beginning of the next round. And then we're going to do a second half double crochet into the same stitch, and then 2 half double crochets in this stitch. This yarn is a little splitty. I don't know if it's because it's old or if it's just the way that is. I'll do one more with you and then we'll pause and finish the round. We should end up with a total of 20 half double crochets in this round because of the increasing. All right, meet me up when we get to the stitch before the stitch marker. Okay, we're all the way around. Now I'm going to remove the stitch marker and move it up with each round. So this first stitch of the next round is going to get 2 half double crochets in it, but I'm going to quickly put the stitch marker back in that first stitch so that I know where the round ends. And then 1 half double crochet in the next. And that's going to be the pattern around. 2 half double crochets in this stitch, 1 half double crochet in the next. Continue that pattern all the way around until the stitch before the stitch marker. You should end up with 30 half double crochets by the time you get to here. For the next round, of course, we'll be moving the stitch marker up. We're going to put 2 half double crochets in the first stitch. I'm going to put my stitch marker in right away so I don't lose my spot. And then 1 half double, if I said single crochet, forgive me. We're doing all half double crochets. I'm so sorry, now I'm losing my train of thought. So 1 half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. I'll do that pattern one more time and then we'll pause and meet when we get around. 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, 1 half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. By the time you get around to the stitch before the stitch marker, you should have 40 half double crochets. For the next round, we will of course move our stitch marker up, and we're going to put 2 half double crochets in the first stitch. I'm going to put my stitch marker in right away. 2 in that same stitch, and then 1 half double crochet in each of the next 3. Wait, this is 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. Yes, 1 in the next 3. I'll do that pattern one more time. I got confused for a minute. We'll put 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, 1 half double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So by the time you get all the way around to the stitch before the stitch marker, the first round has 10, 20, 30, 40. This will be 50. It increases by 10 each time we do it with the pattern that I'm using. So continue that pattern around and you'll end up with 50 stitches for this round. The next round, of course, I'll take the stitch marker out. We're going to put 2 half double crochets in the first stitch. I'm going to put my stitch marker in immediately because I tend to lose my spot otherwise, my beginning spot. and then 1 half double crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 half double crochets in the next stitch, in that same stitch, and then 1 half double crochet in the next 4. And we're going to follow that all the way around until you get to the stitch before the stitch marker, and you will have 60 half double crochets in this round. All right, then we're not done increasing, but this next round we're just going to put 1 half double crochet in each stitch around. So you'll still have 60. I'm putting the stitch marker in that first stitch I just put in. I'm not going to do all 60 stitches here on film, but I'll get you started. So just 1 half double crochet in each stitch around, but stay tuned because we have more increasing to follow. All right, let's finish the round. It will be 60 stitches. All right, we're going to increase in this round. So let me take my stitch marker out. We're going to put 2 half double crochets in the first stitch. Let me just put my stitch marker in before I put the second one in. So 2 in the same stitch here. And then 1 half double crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. And then we will start over. We'll do 2 half double crochets in the next, 1 in the next 5. And I'll do that all the way around to this stitch before the stitch marker. And then we'll come back. You'll have 70 half double crochets when you finish the round. This will be the last increase round. If you feel like you have a smaller size head, maybe you won't want to increase on this round, but what we'll do is we'll do the increase unless you don't want to do the increase, unless you want it to be the smaller size. Then you'll just put 1 half double crochet in each stitch around until it's your desired length and come back. But if you're doing one more increase, which is what I'm going to do, I feel like I have a pretty average size head. We're going to put 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 half double crochet in the next 6. So here's 2 half double crochets in that first stitch, 1 in the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then continue that pattern around. 2 half double crochets in the next stitch, 1 half double crochet in each of the next 6 until you get to here, and then you'll have 80 stitches. Then we'll come back, we'll just talk about making it the length that you want, and then we'll pause again and come back when you have the hat the length that you want. So from here out, we're just going to continue putting 1 half double crochet in each stitch around until we have it the length that we want. In the picture, and from what I can see from a lot of the hats that the flappers wore, they wore them about to the bottom of their ear, and it came just above their eyebrows on their forehead. So, you know, you can choose the look that you want and make it the length that you desire. Continue moving the stitch marker up so that you know where the round ends. When we get to the end, when you have it the length that you want it, make sure you're ending on this stitch before your stitch marker, and then come back and we'll talk about what to do from here. I have mine the length that I want it to be, so we're going to talk about binding off. Man, I love this color. It looks more yellow in the video, but it is just a really beautiful off-white in person. If you were curious how long I made mine, you know, starting from the top, It's about 8 inches, which is, it looks like about 20.5 centimeters. So that brought it down just to the end of my ears, and I'll put it on at the end of the video and show you. So to bind off, since we were doing continuous rows, we're not just going to attach to the first, well, we kind of are going to just attach to the first one and end, but it's not going to be, you know, sorry, I don't mean this to be stuttering. I'll just make sure. So we're going to do it with just a single crochet. We'll go in and slip stitch here. And you won't really notice that that was a different continuous row. And then you'll cut a little tail here and then weave in the ends. I'm going to come back, here, I'll just pull it through. I'm going to weave in my ends off camera and then come back and we'll start on the flower petals. So when you come back with the color that you're going to use for the flower petals. I'm using this light pink, it's called Rose, and it is Big Twist Heather. For the petals, we are going to chain 5. Then we're going to put 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook and then each across. So you'll end up with 4 single crochets here. And then we are going to do 3 more rows of just 1 single crochet in each stitch across so that you'll have a total of 4 rows of 4 single crochets. So I'm going to pause and then come back when I have that. All right, I have 4 rows of 4 single crochets. Now we're going to chain 1 and then we're going to single crochet 2 together. Again, I'm sorry, I see that I'm yarning under. Doesn't really matter for this. It's just a habit for me to yarn under. Turn and then put 1 single crochet in each of the 2. So you'll have the decrease row and then you'll have 1 row with just 2 single crochets. And then this last row, we're going to single crochet both of those together. And then we're just going to continue going around and putting single crochet edging. I'm not counting, so probably all of my petals have different numbers of single crochets going around. I'm just kind of looking for a spot that makes sense. And then I'm putting a single crochet edging there. And so this doesn't have to be precise. Flower petals are not all identical. So we don't have to try and make ours perfect. I mean, you want to do the 4 rows of 4 and then the decrease 1 row of 2 and then single crochet both of them together. You want to do that the same so that they're the same, about the same height. But if they don't have the same number of stitches for the edging, it's not the end of the world. I'm so sorry. That is my son. I have 2 teenage boys and they don't really get what I'm filming for YouTube. But this is life. And I love them and I wouldn't trade them in. Okay, I'm going to put 1 more in. And then the last thing we do is attach to the first stitch with a slip stitch. And then you're going to cut a tail because we're going to need a little bit to sew it onto the hat. And then just knot it through. So this is how the petals look. To sew the flowers on, you can just pick a spot. We'll start by having the flatter side up here and then the more narrow side down here. So I'm threading the needle, and then I'm just going to sew. Be careful not to sew the hat together. You want to just sew your one side that you're working on. Just kind of in and out. We're not going to go all the way around, so don't get carried away here. We're just going to go down this side first. Oops. Okay, then you're going to take a second petal, and it's going to go on top, pointing to the left. So we're just going to continue with this strand and come down this edge, and then we're going to use this to pick up the sewing. So I'll show you. Sew it on here. Again, make sure you're not sewing the hat shut. That would be really easy to do. So just keep aware of that. I don't know if you can hear the wind. It is such a beautiful day here. I have the windows open. There's a nice, perfect temperature breeze. All right, I'm going to finish this one here. I'm going to put a knot in the back on the inside of the hat. And since it's on the inside, you don't have to worry too much about it as long as it's going to hold. Okay, now I'm going to thread the new tail. I'm going to do something similar. I'm just going to come down this edge. And I'll just show you here and pause and come back. I'm going to just sew to here and then come back. Okay, I'm going to get the next petal, and this one will go on top and it will point upward. So we'll come up. And I'm going to go up until I reach this tail, and then I'll stop. I'll finish it, put a knot on the back side of the hat, or on the inside of the hat, and finish it, and then come back. Okay, so for this flowered section, I just threaded the tail that was from the one we just sewed on. This last one is going to go all the way in with I have it the wrong way there. It's going to, so the one that's pointing up this part of it will be underneath the last petal, and then the one that we started with is going to go on top of this last petal. So I'll try and sew this off. Hopefully it's not too boring. If you've got it and you don't need my instruction, you can just pause and move forward in the video. But if not, I'm going to do the sewing on video here so that you can see how I'm doing it. You might have to kind of hold it in place. Now here, I am going to put a stitch or two in the middle just to secure it. And then I'll come back and go up. And I'm going to go up to where the last tail is. Now I will put a knot in this and rethread it and come back for the last part of it. All right, so this last part to be sewn on, we're going to come down. We're going to grab the first one that we placed, and we're going to put a couple stitches, kind of like I did with this one, a couple stitches here in the middle, and then come all the way around to where we started and then finish it up. So I'll do that with you. If you got the idea and you don't need my instruction for the rest of it, feel free to move forward in the video. This is just in case somebody wanted to see what I meant. And then when we get here, we're going to be close to this petal. I'll just come through both petals. And again, put a couple of stitches going towards the middle to hold the middle in place. Okay, now that should stay in place nicely. So I'm going to come up here and sew on this last part. And then I'm going to put a knot here and cut it. So that's the first flower. All of the rest of the flowers going around are going to be put on the same way. So if you need a refresher, you can do that, but you want to measure it out, maybe place them on so that they kind of go tip to tip as best as possible. So then you would measure and say, okay, this one needs to be put on right here in order for this one to be tip to tip. And we're going to put it all the way around. So you need to make enough petals to go all the way around. I'm going to come back and show you mine completed. All right, here's how it looks with all of them sewn on. There were 4 sets of 4 leaves, so you need 16, not leaves, petals, 16 petals total. And here's how it looks completed. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more yarny goodness. Have a great day. Bye.